As it pertains to the CASTOR framework, considering again that we are halfway of the project, we are indeed really close of being able to provide the first fully operational version of the entire CASTOR framework. We are expecting this to be available in the next 2, maximum 3 months. We are now in the process of finalizing the implementation of the standalone building blocks in the different layers. I don't want to go into much details there, but the most important thing is that, from the bottom layer, which is the routing plane, and all of the novel trust extensions that we are implementing, all the way up to the orchestration layer for essentially orchestrating the distribution, the runtime management, all of these security mechanisms working together. So this will be finalized in the coming months, and then we will need like an additional 1 or 2 months for the framework. And then we are really happy that we are going to start the actual evaluation in real world deployments. And this is for us an exciting period, because essentially this is what will validate our initial emphasis of being able to create a practical framework. Now, that's why the way we have structured our evaluation is through a lot of realistic and real world scenarios, capturing both safety critical application domains to also domains where in some cases network is more important than trust, and trust at some point becomes more important in network. What I'm trying to say with this is that we are actually having dynamic requirement as the application is operating during runtime. So our use cases, if I may summarize a little bit the application domains, we have one use case in the context of aerospace. And considering like all of the latest incidents that we have heard on the news, this has become a necessity, and they are actually pushing for such advanced security mechanisms. What we are aiming to be able to test with CASTOR is providing the capability to aerospace, to airport providers and airport officers to actually establish highly available, highly resilient communication channels that they can use to exchange data, which is very important to be able to identify any, let's say, traffic around the airport. As you can understand, availability here and the resilience of the paths becomes very, very important when we're talking about this type of networks. In the same context, we also have one use case where we are testing the establishment of secure paths with drones. The unique feature of this use case is that it's a combination of different mobility models, as we're talking about drones, but they are communicating over the 5G core. So we are also able to test virtualization layers. We are able to test different type of requirements in the 5G and how this allows us to be able to capture different network and trust models in the context of this mobility with drones. And we also have a use case in the automotive domain, in the domain of connected cars, another very, very safety critical application domain where there is a lot of already ongoing discussion in the standards of opening up the context and the concept of trust at the higher layers of the application layer. So CASTOR now comes and we will test actually how trust becomes a property of layer 2 of the lowest layer in the networking domain. This is fully aligned again with standards. We have a lot of partners in the context of the CASTOR consortium that are actually driving the specification of this type of trust properties in the standards. And one additional then use case, let's say, that we are having, it is again in the field of the automotive, where we are opening up now the service model into what we say domain to domain. So basically think of it is that you are monitoring what is happening on the road in a different city in a country, and we are using the path being established by multiple network operators to reach a traffic control center in the capital, let's say, of the country. So we want to be able now, and this is the testament of the stress testing, the scalability testing of CASTOR, when we are talking now about a path being established over multiple domains. So you see we have, let's say, a wide variety, a wide palette of different proof of concept, real world deployments that will allow to test all of the core dimensions of interoperability, of how CASTOR is able to capture like different type of operators And we are also very happy to have in our consortium Orange, that is actually going to provide a real testbed when we're talking about the infrastructure that we are going to do all of our experimentation. So we are very, very excited that we are entering like the second phase of the project. And this will allow us, again, to validate, hopefully, all of our, initial goals. And yes, they are very promising goals and promising key performance indicators. And we are excited that in the coming months, we should be able to actually bring this forth to the community.